Hey, welcome back to another Black City Coffee vlog. Look what we got in a new bag of coffee. This is the one that I decided I cupped it, but I only cupped it as a sample. So now we're going to try to create a production roast profile. We're probably not going to get it this first time around. It's probably going to take a good 5, maybe 10 times to really get it down, but that's okay. So we have a Costa Rica. This is the variety Sonora Villa or Villa Sarchi, and that's what you can kind of remember is that Sarchi. It's a natural sort of mutation that happens in the Bourbon Typica species of coffee or varietal, and it is a natural. Okay. But before we get started, we're still preheating the roaster, so we'll make some coffee. We have some orders to fill as well, and then I will let you know when we start roasting that Costa Rican and what the plan will be. Brand new Costa Rica, can't see it, Sonora Villa Sarchi, natural process coffee. Here's what it looks like. Sourced from Hasea Coffee Source. Shout out to Hasea Coffee Source. They're the homies, check them out. Links in the description. Okay, the computer is updating right on time when I'm about to roast. Preheating, we're gonna keep this at a, kind of let it linger at 350 if we can. While we're waiting for the computer to boot up, what I'm showing you here, a natural versus a washed, right? So you can see the color difference right away. General practice for natural coffees is to go a little bit gentler. Now, what do we know and how do we approach a new coffee? Now, when I interviewed Trevor from Sabbath Coffee Roasters, shout out, he said, when I roast a coffee, it takes me like 10 pounds or something, or 10 tries or something, a lot. You know, he said something crazy like 100 pounds. 100 pounds to figure it out. And that's because he's running larger batches, right? So with me, I definitely don't want it to take me that long to figure out the best profile for this coffee and how it's going to present and capture those flavors that I was tasting in the sample roast, right? Now I know in a sample roast, because it's not a one-to-one comparison, meaning it's not the same. You're not going to be able to, for one, have the same control that you can have over a sample roast that you could potentially, in my example, for sure, than you maybe might have with a production roast, okay? What we're going to try to do, obviously, is maybe roast it and match that sample roast. Now, I drank it all, so I don't have it to compare it to, but I'm kind of trusting and hoping that with all the experience that I have so far, I will be able to call a proper light roast, you know? I got this thing barely on, that's why. So he said, getting back to what Trevor said, he said, I when I'm trying to find out how a coffee roasts, I'll just put it in there and let the coffee do what it wants to do. And that stuck with me. I've heard that maybe one time, another time. And I don't really know what that means. But maybe keeping my settings at a very general sort of thing and not trying to do anything to the coffee. So I'm gonna just see how it reacts when it, you know, I'm gonna roast it as I normally do, I guess. I don't have any preconceived things that I'm going into this coffee or this roast, right? So I'm thinking what he meant is he just roasted it like a standard way of roasting it. He's not trying to do anything to it, like, oh, let's make this lighter, like let's make this darker, or let's elongate the middle of the roast or something like that. Now, if I were smart, I would have just asked him. But what I want to do is say, document it here on camera and say, I wonder what Trevor meant. Let me try and execute what I think he meant. And then, of course, I'm going to follow up. I'll hit him up and I'll say, hey, Trevor, is this what you meant? And then I can, like, you know, that way I'm still being, I'm still using my critical thinking skills. You know, I'm still taking control of my roast the way that I want to take control of, versus you tell me what to do. I don't want that. For me, that's just my style. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to be guided, but I still want to develop my own style. I'm going to understand it in my own way because I'm like that. I don't know. Actually, I guess we'll go ahead and start off since the camera's rolling. We'll start off with this new coffee. But first, what we got to do is enter it in RoastPath, which I forgot to do. Okay, we are back. I've entered in the new green. And what we're going to call this new green, or this new coffee, not the green itself, but we're going to call this coffee, roasted by Black City Coffee, Pioneer. I'll get to you and tell you why. Create new coffee. We have now created a new coffee, and now we can roast and try to develop this profile, which would be a light profile, and try to figure that out and what that looks like. So we'll select Pioneer, light. And if I did a medium one, I would have a different one for that. I would check the box for that, or I would select that. And now I can go roast this coffee. Okay, so now we're set up. This coffee, it's not terribly high elevation, which was cool. I think it was more like a 1,500, 1,600 meters elevation, so not super high. So let's start off, and because it's a natural, let's start off with a 350 charge. So I guess I'll kind of record well into this first run, and then I'll probably cut it off and then try to focus and concentrate. Okay. So we're ready there. We're at 360. Now let's cool down a bit. Okay, so I have 2 full batches here of the Pioneer, the Costa Rican natural that we have. They look really good, really well sorted. Yeah, looks really good. Everything looks good to go. So sometimes I'll come down and heat. I'll use the fan, I'll open this up if I need to for a really aggressive cool down. And then come back to a low fan. And then crank this guy all the way up. And then hit charge. We're counting down pretty soon right here. Load this guy up. Okay, that's 350 on the dot. So let's see where it turns around and watch it. You know, I wish I could have a camera here, camera on the sight glass, and a camera on the fuel. That way you could really see what I'm seeing, I guess, all at the same time. That'd be, I think, a better learning tool. So you could see how each of these three things is being balanced at the same time. Meanwhile, that Ethiopia that I roasted the other day, that blue, gooey blue or whatever, it's really tasty right now. Okay, so I'm barely at like a 0.1 kPa right now. And here's what the coffee looks like. Okay, so right now what we're waiting for is first crack. Come down in the heat a little bit more, maybe to like a church flame. You know, there you go. Take a look at that. We're gonna wait for first crack. We're at 360 right now. We're at 7 minutes 42. Looking very good. We're at a medium airflow. Now I'm just gonna let it hit first crack. We're probably gonna hit it the later end of the, maybe end of 8 minutes, maybe 9 minutes. So now I've got my ear open, listening for a potential quieter first crack. It's not gonna be like a washed. Should be coming soon. Yep. You probably can't even hear it. The mic won't pick it up, but it's there. And it's pretty quiet. Now, since we had a pretty long middle, let's try to roast this like based off of color and a really light roast. Now, if this behaves like Mr. Pablo and wants to turn into a medium, like right after, like right before a minute hits, then we'll adjust. So let's look at the color and then see from there first, and then maybe try to do something lighter. I think we're going to try to go lighter than this color. So here's the color. Okay, you can't really see it. Still got those crags, those black crags in there. Definitely don't want it too swelled, right, so that it's a medium or something. But so we'll pull a sample from that, keep it next to us. That way we can pull an even lighter sample. The roast curve looks like. Don't mind this squiggly stuff over here, okay? It's still recording. So it'll go away when I save it. Let's take a look. Turning point, 143. Green yellow, dry end, 423. First crack a little later, so 9, okay. It's because we went very gentle. You see how the curve is going under versus maybe going straighter or over. Yeah, we really tried to be gentle with it. Because I really didn't want to tip it or burn it since it was a natural. I was kind of being cautious. And then a drop at 958, that looks good. At 383 degrees, that's a pretty light roast, right? And then 9% here. Like I said, these are just numbers. It's really going to count when we write all this stuff down and we cup it and then we compare it to something lighter or darker than this. So let's put these numbers down into the notebook and then continue on the next one. So I'll write these down But I won't record the next part. That way I can really focus and not have to worry about the camera, because that's, you know, it's another thing to worry about. But yeah, I'll just do exactly what I told you I said I was going to do. And I'll report to you back. We'll see you back at the cupping station, where we put down some real cupping notes or flavor notes. And eventually get it on the site so you guys can try it. It's a very good coffee. It's a very layered, flavored cup, that's what I want to bring, you know. That's what I want to bring out and present to you guys so you can try it. Loss. We don't know yet, so this is a 9%. Not cool yet. Alright, we'll save this. And then I think I want to try an even lighter roast. I don't want to go any darker. It seems like a waste of. Let's try, that was 9. Let's try 7. And maybe try to shorten up that middle phase a little bit. And that would give us maybe like maybe a sharper cup. Or maybe a brighter cup. I don't know. I don't know. So this is a Pioneer 413. Call them. All right, let's check out what the weight loss is on it. $9.30. $9.30 minus the bag. $8.78 divided by. All right, great. 12.2 loss percent. Good. That's pretty light already. Yeah, let's see if we can go lighter. Let's try it at 7% like Mr. Pablo. Okay. This is the first one. I'm pretty happy with that first run, and then I'll do the second one. Number 2. All right, we'll see you in a bit.